Hello and welcome to another edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is our very own Larry Gardner, the public address announcer for the Rome Emperors, and of course our fabulous producer Wayne Ridenauer in Memphis, Tennessee. You can catch us all on social media at ATL Prime Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, and of course Spotify. Our personal X's at JJ Get You One for myself, at RWY Jr. for Wayne, at LG the number 4 Real Though for Larry Gardner, and at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder, who is broadcasting the ACHL Women's Hockey Playoffs as we speak. Hope he's having a great call up there in St. Louis. Wayne, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Basketball tournaments start today, actually, and I think Memphis plays tomorrow. And I hadn't been keeping up with the first round of the AAC tournament, but we did get to skip one game, and we'll be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. Big March Madness is kicked off with the conference tournaments. James Madison, what a heck of a year they've had. Football winning, getting to their first bowl game, and now winning the Sun Belt tournament, punching their ticket to the dance. Larry, how you doing, man?
Everything is well, JJ. I appreciate you asking, man. It's wide open baseball season, wide open lacrosse season, and of course, as you already previously stated, March Madness is upon us. So, Selection Sunday is this weekend. We're getting ready to go into the round of 64 plus 4. So I'm looking forward to it. To me, it's one of my favorite times of the year. I can't wait. I will say this, though, and I may even use this as my final thought. Here's a tease for it. Are we at the point in time where women's college basketball has overtaken the men's sport in popularity?
Could be. I tell you, it almost has for me recently.
Maybe. Maybe it has. Caitlin Clark's done a lot of that, hasn't she?
Yeah, well, and that LSU South Carolina dust up kind of created a little bit of hype too.
Well, that rivalry's been going on for quite a while, but
oh yeah,
that's going to be one of my final thoughts. But JJ, man, how you doing this evening?
Man, I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking, which is better news than what Yankees ace Garrett Cole is dealing with. He will take a trip to see Dr. Atraz, I believe I pronounced that correctly, out there in LA. Same doctor Ronald Acuna just went and saw for his knee. He's going to see it for his elbow. They're going to perform more tests on it, see what's going on. But basically the news is he's going to be shut down with no timetable for return and is definitely going to be ruled out for opening day. What's on tap for today's show? The latest in NFL free agency, including the Falcons' newest additions. And we'll give our favorites to win the World Series in each league with the first pitch just a week away in Seoul, South Korea. NFL free agency is underway, and the Atlanta Falcons have made the most waves in some cases so far. The Kirk Cousins deal and Darnell Mooney era begins this fall. What are your thoughts on the Falcons' newest addition? Wayne, we'll let you throw this one off, man.
Well, I like this a whole lot better than trying to draft some rookie guy in there and turn him into a superstar quarterback after 3 games. Kirk Cousins is a solid guy. Hopefully we can keep him healthy long enough to whoever we do draft will have time to acclimate and really become a superstar the right way.
Yeah, I love it. I said Justin Fields all along, mainly because of the money. I did not think the Falcons front office would pull the trigger on a guy like Kirk Cousins. And the amount of money they spent to go get him, a 4-year, $180 million deal with $100 million guaranteed. Some experts say that Atlanta overpaid. That may be true, but I also believe that the Falcons front office had to lure him away from what some consider a better situation in Minnesota as well. So maybe the reason for the excessive bag was to say, hey, this is your spot. Come on back. Your wife's moving back here. Why not make this thing easy transition? Larry, we'll go more into this, but I want to hear your thoughts before I go deeper.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't think that they necessarily overpaid as much as it looks like, only because that's kind of the going rate now. And he was the best quarterback available on the free agent market. So if you want to get it, and free agency, everybody knows this, man, you overpay everybody. And if you want them, you got to overpay for them. And that's unfortunate, but that's the reality of NFL free agency. That said, Terry Fontenot said he was going to be aggressive. He's done that so far in free agency. I just can't wait to see what his and the Falcons brass, their draft plans are now. With the Mooney signing, to me, it's got to be defense. You know, I think they're going to load up defense, because they've got to with the signings that they've gotten. I know they were waiting to see some things that were going on with the Chargers and the whole Bosa and Khalil Mack kind of thing to see if they were going to be cap casualties, but the Chargers were able to hold on to both of them. So, you know, kudos to the general manager, Terry Fontenot, Coach Raheem Morris, and everybody in the Falcons brass that has put the Falcons in position to now be not only a playoff team, but to me, with the Cousins signing, to me, your standards got to be the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, man, I reiterate, I love it. I did not think this was possible. I did not think the front office would pull the trigger. 39,400 plus career passing yards for Kirk Cousins. It's 24th all time and counting if you're into those types of things. 270 passes, touchdown passes, winning overall record 76 and 67, 2 ties, has been to the playoffs, has won a game in the playoffs. A little bit better postseason record I would like to have, but hey, he's got the experience. He's 1-3 in that department. The leadership alone to me is worth about 3 wins. And if that guy is on our roster last year, or I should say Atlanta's roster last year, I definitely believe they win the division. So I think the leadership is huge. You've heard his sound bites before, pre and post game. You've seen him hanging on the plane with Justin Jefferson, and he's got all the necklaces, the chains, the diamonds, the ice, whatever you want to call it, and it looks good on him, man. He's dancing, the team's around him, so he's a locker room guy. That's another just off the field that I love. Get a guy in here that wants to do things the right way, and look, you get a guy also in wide receiver Darnell Mooney. Let's get back to the wide receiver that came into the league hot. 2020, let me look at my notes here. 61 catches, 4 touchdowns. 2021, 20 more catches, 81, insane, 4 touchdowns. Then Justin Fields came in and the numbers went down a little bit. He's had a 1,000-yard season in this league, so he's had some early success. And here's the biggest stat that everybody's been throwing around. I'm sure you've seen it on Twitter, and if you're watching the YouTube, it'll pop up right now. The leadership, nearly 40% of deep balls to Darnell Mooney in his career have been inaccurate. I had to look at that stat a couple times and think, I was like, wow. I mean, you mean to tell me 60% of the time he's only getting a chance to catch the football, where if you can get it to 67, 70%. So only 40% of deep balls have been, are nearly 40% of those balls inaccurate to Mooney down the field. On the flip side, Kirk Cousins over that same span is number 1 in deep ball accuracy with throws of 20 or plus more yards. So that should excite fans extremely because, hey, here we are, guy that's got a deep threat, got a guy that can throw that deep threat, and you have Drake London and Kyle Pitts to pair with it. And we'll see. There'll probably be another receiver addition. Maybe the Falcons go draft a receiver in the 2nd round. Maybe that guy's Ladd McConkey. Who knows what happens with the Atlanta Falcons. But that stat right there was mind-blowing. Nearly 40% basically bad deep balls to Mooney. And then again, Kirk Cousins in that same span, number 1. That's going to change the dynamic of this offense, Larry, completely, right off the bat with just those 2 players.
Oh, most definitely. And as a Falcons fan, you've got to be excited just to see what that offense the potential that offense can have, especially if they add another, I don't necessarily want to call it a deep threat, but another good slot receiver to the mix with that crew. man, I'm talking about you can really, we really did see 30 points in a game hardly ever last season. They should be able to hit that target repetitively with this offense if everybody stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't believe the Falcons hit 30 points last year, Larry. My memory serves me correctly. Mac Hollins goes to Buffalo, and that's where we get into, guys. Any final thoughts on the Mooney, Kirk Cousins, and honestly, tight end Charlie Warner was acquired as well, another great backup to Kyle Pitts, who also lost his. We got rid of Jonnu Smith as well. So, you know, Charlie Warner just played in the Super Bowl, another key acquisition there. Don't want to let that one go unnoticed. Guys, let's go around other notable free agency signings or significant trades that you guys thought were huge. I'll tee this one up. And look, it's the running backs, folks. The running backs are getting paid. The Eagles lost DeAndre Swift to free agency, but they return greatly with running back Saquon Barkley on a 3-year, huge money, $37.75 million deal, 26 fully guaranteed. So the Eagles got another dynamic back to replace Swift, who had a great season. Tons of all-purpose yards for Swift last year. Really great in the fantasy game if you were paying attention that way. But then you go to Swift. He got a 3-year, $24 million deal with $15.3 million guaranteed to go to Chicago. So it's running back galore, running back galore, running back galore. Derrick Henry up there in Baltimore gets a deal. Lots of new teams with big-name running backs. Couple trades here I want to highlight. Steelers traded wide receiver Deontay Johnson and a 2024 7th-round pick to Carolina for cornerback Jackson and a 2024 6th-round pick. That's a great trade. And those are just some of the notable ones. They're huge. Chris Jones re-signs with the Chiefs, impact defensive player, defensive end in both Super Bowls recently, back-to-back Super Bowls, made key plays. Rushed the passer on Brock Purdy on that 3rd and goal that forced the incompletion in overtime for the field goal. So tons of notable free agents making their moves today. Larry, give us a couple that caught your eye.
Yeah, one that really stood out to me, and I think this is going to be huge for them, is the Josh Jacobs signing with Green Bay. I think that is going to be a phenomenal signing for them to help give Jordan Love another proven commodity as long as he can stay healthy, and to see what they were able to do against Dallas in that first at a playoff game, to be able to know that you got somebody that can tote the rock and create mismatches both in the run game and in the passing game. I think that's going to be a huge signing for Green Bay. That stood out. The Brian Burns trade I don't know what Carolina was thinking, but that trade, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, because you had an opportunity last year to get I think it was 2 firsts and a 2nd or a 3rd, and then you just got hoodwinked, bamboozled, ran amok with this trade offer, and good for Brian, of course, but what is Carolina doing is making life easier for the Falcons to compete for a division title. And then something else that shocked me was Jameis Winston with a signing up there in Cleveland. So
good deal.
That's a lot of musical chairs going on. Flacco going to Indianapolis on a 1-year deal. So it's a lot of moving pieces going on. The NFL is definitely going to look different in the 2024 season for sure.
Yeah, I think I had that defensive end Brian Burns trade on there as well. They were offered by LA straight up 2 first-round draft picks for Brian Burns at the trade deadline last season. They said no, we're going to make him a pillar of our defense. Things change really quickly. In the offseason, you start seeing, hey, which way do we want to go? Well, they brought in a new coach. They brought in a new regimen, and here we are now. Settling down, they said, all right, let's get the picks, let's rebuild this thing. So do I think it was a bad move? Could they have gotten more early on? Yes. But also, they get some picks that they can rebuild this thing pretty quick, and you get a 2025 pick as well, so you can build for the future. So in their front office, they said, you know what, maybe we're not going to get what we got for them because they did franchise tag them, so they tagged them and then had to trade them. So interesting trade there for sure. It was a head scratcher. I don't grade trades right off the bat because, yeah, they could look good or look bad one way or the other. But what we won't know. What if Carolina completely revamps their team with these three picks? So we'll see what happens down the road. But that was interesting. I think another one is Gardner Minshew signing with the Vegas Raiders. I think that's a guy that could come in and compete for that starting job. He played well in substitution for Anthony Richardson last year in Indianapolis, won a couple games, kept him in the playoff race. But lots of movement around the league, guys. Interesting free agency, fast and furious right off the get-go, from leaguer tampering to earlier Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. when things could become made official. Just a lot of movement around the NFL. And very interesting. Wayne, any free agency moves that looked on went past your phone and you said, "Wow, that guy's going where?"
Yeah, well, there was one in particular. The $24 million man, Tony Pollard, will be coming back to Tennessee from Dallas. I think that's a pretty big deal there because, having started his college at Memphis and then going over there to the Cowboys, now he's back in Tennessee, and that's a pretty good deal. And thankfully, the Falcons may not have to face him now until they get in the Super Bowl versus the Titans.
There, I like the pick. Guys, and then I'll ask this question. We'll have some fun with all the names we've mentioned. Plenty more that we haven't mentioned, but we don't have all day and all night to talk to you about the amount of moves and trades that were made. We were just kind of telling you some of the big boys. Which player do you feel will make the biggest impact on his new team? Guys, I'll kick this one off, and I really do believe it's Darnell Mooney for the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is a great signing, a speedster. The stat I mentioned earlier is huge about the deep ball accuracy with Kirk Cousins, and honestly, Mooney's ability to beat players deep, and then the ball is thrown in accurately his way. I just think that is huge. And if that stat is in favor of Atlanta, let's say, 15 more percent, folks, that's like another 2 or 3 big plays a season. You're talking a 40 or 50-yard touchdown play from Cousins to Mooney, which you just haven't seen since Matt Ryan left. You haven't seen that deep throw that makes defenders say, all right, this guy's going to beat us deep. Ritter and Heineke didn't do that. So that, to me, is a huge under-the-radar signing, and I think Mooney has the real big chance of being the biggest impact free agent over the next coming season or two with the Atlanta Falcons. Larry, give me a guy you feel is going to make the biggest impact immediately with his new team.
It's the guy that made the same biggest impact with his new team that became his same team last year. And y'all going to laugh at me when I tell you this, but Tampa Bay came through in the clutch being able to sign both Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and not allowing them to go anywhere else. Those were huge critical signings by them. I think that continues to give them some continuity. It continues to allow them to be able to compete with Atlanta and New Orleans for the NFC South Division title. But you'd have to be just the absolute, I don't want to use this word, you just have to be non-aware if you don't think it's Kirk Cousins. He was able to do in half a season what Desmond Ritter and Taylor Heineke did in an entire 17-game season. So obviously he is going to be able to be the most influential free agent pickup across the board. But don't count your chickens before they hatch. You want to see how he's going to rehab. You want to see how healthy he's going to get. We don't know what week he'll actually show up, which tells me Atlanta will still be in the quarterback business, whether it's second round, third round, or fourth round in the draft, or if it's another free agent signing that they want to pick up down the line. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo, who just came available, would be somebody that could be serviceable as a backup. You never know. But I think the Buccaneers being able to keep both Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans continues to keep their quote-unquote playoff ability window still open for them.
Yeah, I like that pick. Baker Mayfield staying in the NFC South with Tampa and Mike Evans, 10 straight or whatever it is, 1,000-yard seasons since he's been in the league. Just a sure first ballot Hall of Famer if he keeps it up for another 1 or 2 years. Wayne, same question to you. Which player do you feel is going to make the biggest impact on their new team?
Well, this
or
is
just free agent in general?
I'm going to answer this with a two-person thing. One that's an offensive coordinator and another that's a quarterback. I'm anxious to see what Arthur Smith is going to do with Russell Wilson up there in Pittsburgh. And is it going to be similar to what he did at Atlanta as head coach, or is his offensive coordinator position going to be a better fit for him? I'm just anxious to see what's going to happen with that.
Hey, good answer. Good answer. Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. A lot of people expecting big things right away with the Super Bowl ring on his hand coming in, and league minimum, making a bunch of money off the Denver Broncos coming in. So it's going to be real interesting what Russell Wilson does up there in Pittsburgh, in a tough division as well. Pittsburgh's going to be going up against Derrick Henry twice now. It's going to be real fun. Patrick Queen is on Pittsburgh now. Some more big free agent names that have been tossed around just to close out that segment. So, yeah, great way to end that, Wayne. Arthur Smith with Russell Wilson is a good one. Two guys, two birds with one stone, really, like you just said. Guys, let's move from the NFL to Major League Baseball again. As of right now, we are under a week away from first pitch of the Major League Baseball opening day. Technically, I guess, because the Padres and the Dodgers are playing the Seoul, South Korea series. So I guess that's opening day next Wednesday in Seoul. So with that being said, let's throw around some favorites who we think we're going to win the World Series, and let's throw around a couple dark horses, guys. And then we'll get into our final thought, short, sweet show tonight. Wayne, I'll let you start off, man. Your Rangers definitely got to be one of the favorites in the American League.
Right. Well, now, are we going to be doing this by league, or we just want me to run over all six of who I think is going to win each division?
You can do 6 in one league, none in another. If you think it's going to be all American League run, you can do whatever you want, man. We're having fun with this thing.
Well, I'm going to start off with the NL East and say that the Braves still have a commanding presence there. And then moving over to the NL Central, I'd say the St. Louis Cardinals are still going to be my team, even though they kind of weak last year. NL West, I got to go with San Francisco Giants. I had them picked last year, and I think they just fell slightly short. Now, in the American League, it's going to be slightly different because in the East, I've got the Orioles. In the what do you call it? The AL Central, Kansas City, another team that did pretty poorly last year, but I think they're going to bounce back this year. And of course, the AL West, I've got the Texas Rangers.
There you go. So Kansas City would be like your dark horse there.
Right, absolutely. Well, between them and the Cardinals.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals, who are a winning franchise. They're due to bounce back. I don't mind those picks at all. Bobby Witt Jr., one of the promising young players in baseball. They did add Will Smith, the closer, who has won 3 straight championships. So
but with that Will Smith thing, are you going to be able to keep? Is he going to let you? Are you going to have to keep his coach's name out of your mouth or not? Kidding.
So yeah, it's going to be fun. Larry, give me your favorites and maybe throw in a couple dark horses in there for the fun of it.
Yeah, man. NL East, I'm not even going to break them down like Wayne did. I think it's the Braves to lose as far as the World Series is going. Complete, top to bottom, 1 through 9, starting pitchers 1 through 5, bullpen, setup men, closers. I think the Atlanta Braves have
that chip on their shoulder from last year.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Wayne. I think one of the things that just happened, and one of my sleeper picks is the San Diego Padres now as they have just made the trade with the Chicago White Sox to pick up Dylan Cease. So that trade opens up, or really fills a spot for them after the free agency of Blake Snell. You don't know what he's going to do, but that's a huge, huge thing for them. So it completes their starting rotation with Musgrove, Cease, Darvish. You got to get Fernando Tatis Jr. back in the groove. But, in the West, it's all about the Dodgers and Nets spending $1 billion in free agency. So they probably feel the same way the Braves do. It's either World Series or bust. American League, Wayne, I still think it's the Rangers to lose.
Yeah.
The only team I think that can give them a good competitive run, and in my aspect, is the Orioles.
Yeah.
And all of those young bats I believe they're going to wake up this season, and I think they're going to shock the world a lot. They were able to get their first playoff berth last year, and I don't even know how many seasons it was. And I think that experience is going to carry over into this season. Look out for the Orioles to make some ALCS championship run there and maybe contend for a World Series berth there in the American League.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on the Orioles. That's my American League #1 behind the Rangers, of course. We've mentioned them twice. I won't mention it a third time, but I'll go into the Orioles for sure. The additions of right-handed pitcher Corbin Burns, a career .326 ERA, and relief pitcher, former Brave closer Craig Kimbrell, over 415 career saves. Adding to a great setup guy and Cano. This team is loaded. They got the first baseman. They got the third baseman. Now they got the rotation. Thing is now going to be, can they do it down the stretch? Can they get in that postseason run and finish the drill? They're my #1 killers in the AL. I really believe they are poised for a serious deep run in the National League. Of course, it's the Atlanta Braves. I got the Olsen jersey right there.
Yeah.
Guy would have been an MVP if it weren't for Mookie Betts and Ronald Acuna and Freddie Freeman last year. What a wonderful National League MVP race it was. But it went to the unanimous number 13, Ronald Acuna Jr. And the Atlanta Braves are definitely the front runners from top to bottom. They're the best team in baseball. And it's not even really close. If Shohei Ohtani could pitch this year, I might be pretty close with the Dodgers. But I think that's the big difference. Now we move over. It's the pesky Phillies. In the NL East, you have Aaron Nola back. You have Wheeler back. The front end of that rotation is loaded. They got the closer. They got everybody in between, from Real Muto to Trey Turner, who really turned it on after the standing ovation in his own stadium. Struggling last year, turned it on. Seemed like he hit 5,000 the last 6 weeks of the year and into the playoffs. So the Phillies are right there. Bryce Harper's going to be hungry. They're hungry in Philadelphia. Truly believe that'll be your NLCS. Is the Phillies and the Braves. If it doesn't divvy up in the way, obviously they may meet in the second round there. But obviously the Dodgers are in there in the National League. And you cross back over in the American League. The Yankees with Juan Soto, they're due to have a great season. If Stanton and Judge can stay healthy for the entire 162 games, that'll put them in the playoffs alone. So going back, flipping back over, dark horse again, not doing anything in any real order here. But the D-backs are going to be a dark horse again, especially in that NL West with Wayne. You mentioned the Giants who are looking to rebound after falling just short last year. And then the Mariners. The Mariners are going to be really good in this American League West. They're going to be nipping at the heels of your Texas Rangers. So it's going to be a wide open Major League Baseball season. The new rules, again, I was skeptical last year.
Yeah.
It kind of got my eyes glued to the TV. Watching Acuna steal 70-plus bases last year was absurd, and I just want to see more and more of it. I want to see 100 bases stolen. I want to see 110 stolen. I want to see those numbers piling up because baseball deserves it. It's exciting. I know Todd would hate me right now, but you know what? I like the rules. They're fun. The pitch clock I could do away with, but this is exciting. And another year of Major League Baseball coming down the pipes. March 28th, the Braves open up against the Phillies in the city of brotherly love. That should be a fun series to open up the season with. Again, Seoul, South Korea, Padres, Dodgers next Wednesday. Guys, it's fully Major League Baseball season. And with that, Larry, I'm going to give a little update on the farm, man. Tell us about the Rome Emperors this year. First year with a new name. Give us a little excitement level up there in Rome, man.
Yeah, man, it's going to be real fun to be able to deal with a whole new rebranding, a new manager as the manager we had last year, Angel Flores, is now taking over the AA team in Mississippi. We've been able to see a lot of the Rome Braves that played the majority of the season there, or the Rome Emperors that played the majority of the season there in spring training this year. You've seen the two-headed pitcher monster and Hurston Waldrop. You've seen Shawver, but not even in the pitcher range. Look at what I call them the cardiac kids, but look at the people such as Nacho Alvarez Jr., Kevin Kilpatrick Jr., Drake Baldwin catching. He's had a phenomenal spring with them. You're seeing Bryson Horn being able to go in there and show that he's still got some big league power. I know he's going to probably start in Mississippi this year, but there are a lot of names to look forward to. Ethan Workinger will probably start again in left field for the Rome Emperors. You got a lot of people looking at Keyshawn Ogans, who played a lot of third base and second base for the Rome Emperors last year. You got several arms that'll be coming up and probably starting there. One key pitcher, well, really two, if you really want to be honest about it. One is Owen Murphy, who we saw in spring training. Couple of starts. He got still stock the first start, but he came on his second start and winded down a little bit. Of course, he'll probably start
he settled down, looked good.
Yeah, he really did. I'm looking to see, and he'll probably start in AAA this year. But Spencer Swellenbach, I mean, he had a no-hitter he pitched two games in Rome, and he had a no-hitter in his last one all the way to the seventh inning, and he was looking sharp. You got him. Roldy Munoz, fireballer that can throw the ball down the middle. Bautista, another arm to look forward to. So I got to give AA some credit, man, and not only him, but the international scouting department of the Atlanta Braves. And the way that they are able to get these kids that Venezuela, Central America, Mexico, Puerto Rico, you get all of these kids and you put them in Augusta and get them up there in Rome and see how quickly they move up. I'm telling you, it's going to be quite the season for the Rome Emperors. I'm looking forward to it. Opening day is April 5th on a Friday night fireworks there as well. So get your popcorn. I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of talented kids. And I don't think that the top half of those kids will not be in Rome long. I think they may be there a month, maybe a month and a half, and they'll either be in Mississippi or either in Gwinnett getting ready to put some work in to get ready to head to the show.
Yeah, Nacho looks real good in Brave spring training in Northport right now. I think he's got 5 hits in spring training, about 19 at-bats or something. And I'm telling you what, if he makes it to the Braves, I am getting me a Nacho costume, and I will be Nacho's Nacho. So, number one fan right here, Nacho. Wayne, you had one final comment you wanted to get about Major League Baseball and rebuilding teams.
Yeah, well, there's 2 teams, one for each league, that I think keep an eye on, because by the end of this season, I predict they're going to have their act together and start making moves, although too late to make any postseason. And that's going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Los Angeles Angels under the direction of his name slips my mind now.
Ron
Washington. That's right. Those are the 2 teams I think are going to make some major turnarounds through this year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Major League Baseball, again, first pitch next week in Seoul, South Korea. Padres, Dodgers, divisional matchup to open it up. Should be exciting. Let's get to our final thought, guys, right quick before we do. Again, folks, if you like the content, we do this for fun. We do it for you. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. and hit that notification button so you can get notified when we drop our latest content. Final thought, guys. I'm going to have fun with this one. It's a question for me. Guys, would you rather? It's a would you rather, and you have to answer it. Have your college football team win the college football playoff national championship, or your NCAA men's basketball team win it all in March Madness? Which one, guys? I'll answer this one first, give you guys some time to think. I've already seen 2 college football playoff national champions. I would like to see the Georgia Bulldogs make a run to the Final Four and beyond myself.
That's a big. That's
The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets do it.
That's
so
a big.
I would love to see that.
That's a big ask.
The Final Four.
Yeah, that's a big ask. You're asking a whole lot, man.
Huge ask.
Yeah. All right,
Wayne,
Larry.
what about you? Would you rather see the Memphis Tigers football team win it all, or the basketball team finish the job unlike they did in the free throw laden escapade back in the day?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this. I'll take the Memphis basketball championship over the football any day. I mean, Memphis will celebrate either way, but we'll celebrate more if it's basketball.
I like it. Larry, what say you, man? I think your Hurricanes win it all in March, or they win it all on the football field again?
Oh, man. I've seen what it's like to see them win in college football, and I almost got a chance to see them win it all last year as they made it all the way to the Elite Eight before being bounced out. So for me, I would love to see the basketball team win it all because it's so rare in the way the one-and-done system is to be able to keep talent together that can make that push year after year after year, whereas in college football, the recruiting, when you're a big-time university, it's easy to poach the big 4- and 5-star recruits to make your team competitive every year. I would love to see that much more in basketball because it's a much more difficult sport to be able to do that in.
I like it. It kind of shocked my answer. Larry, you get your final thought now.
Yeah, which is all about college basketball. You know, the one and done rule in men's college basketball has really eliminated a lot of the natural rivalries and a lot of the names that when we were growing up, you know, it was all about seeing the UNLV running rebels with Larry Johnson, Grandmama, him, Stacey Augmon, and Greg Anthony. And then you seen the Duke Blue Devils with Bobby Hurley and Christian Laettner and Grant Hill. And then, of course, the Fab Five with Weber and Rose and Juwan Howard. And you would see these rivalries form. You know, you remember the 40 Minutes of Hell with Nolan Richardson's Arkansas team back in the day. You'd see that here. With this age of college basketball, you don't see that anymore. And now the women, as you're seeing year after year after year with the Caitlin Clarks, the Angel Reeses, the Haley Van List, you know, the entire South Carolina squad, you know, you're seeing these kids year after year after year, and it builds the excitement, it builds the intensity, and you get that type of game that you got between South Carolina and LSU women's basketball. You know, you thought we was going to be excited for Duke, North Carolina, but it took a turn for the worse there at the end with the fans throwing stuff all over in the court like it was a 1996 WCW match against the NWO, you know, and I hate that it's went to that way. I wish the NBA would reinstate the rule that you had to be in college for at least 2 seasons before you could go pro.
I 100% agree with you. If we had a little bit more time at the end of the show, I'd get into it with you. I think that is 100% correct. You allow teams and you can fall in love with the players knowing they're going to be back at least one more season. Great final thought, Larry. Wayne, sign us off, man, with your final thought.
Well, my final thought would be an attraction that's happening over in Bristol, Tennessee this Sunday afternoon at the half-mile racetrack. This will be a combination NASCAR event with the stock car racing happening, and then afterwards there will be multiple boxing matches. Those matchups will be determined during the race, and after the race, they'll have the boxing match. So it's a double bill. You pay for the car ticket, you get the boxing free.
It does seem like in NASCAR's victory circle, there's always 2 guys. He cut me off on lap 37. That cost me the race.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Folks, again, if you like the content, please like, please subscribe. Follow us at ATL Prime Sports on Instagram, Facebook, and X, and search us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify as well. That wraps us up for Wayne in Memphis, for Larry in Adairsville, Todd, who's out doing play-by-play in St. Louis. I'm JJ here in Lilburn, Georgia. Thanks for watching. Get you one, and we'll see you next week, folks.